Hey guys, Priscilla with Scylla Travel here. How's it going? Today's Monday, and I know I don't generally come on a Monday. However, I did get the results of my I got the test kit in the mail for my African Ancestry DNA test. I got that confused a little bit with the test results for the COVID-19 test that I took Friday at the Minute Clinic. So I did a video on that yesterday. I got those test results back in 2 days, 48 hours. That was awesome. They surprised me. But in the meantime, I was waiting for my DNA test kit to come from African Ancestry DNA. So that's the company that specifically targets Black people, African Americans, Black Americans, Caribbean people, anybody of the African diaspora. So, housekeeping, I do this every time. If you're live, hashtag live. If you're on the replay, hashtag replay. And I'm going to check to see if I'm live. I see some people up there in Facebook land. What could be YouTube land? I don't know, because I'm using this streaming software called StreamYard. So it's like a third party thing. So let's see. Am I live? Yeah, I can see it. I'm live. So if anybody has any trouble hearing me, let me know. Remember, grant StreamYard permission to see your profile by clicking the link. If you see that link in the post, then if you make a comment, I can see your name. So since I'm looking through this third-party software, I can't really see your name unless you grant StreamYard permission. Then I'll be able to see your name. Okay, so time for the unboxing of the test. I ordered this test last Saturday, I believe. And, it was a holiday, and it just seemed like it just took a long time for the post office to get here, right? They had this smart post deal, where they use UPS and then hand it off to the post office. Well, at least election day is over. That's all I have to say. It worked good enough. So here's what it looks like. I was expecting a box, right? Because when I did 23andMe, I got like a fancy box and everything, right? So when I got the package, I just got this smart post thing, and I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's going to be anything in there, right? So here's the test. I said I'm going to wait until later to do the unboxing. So it says, discover the roots of your family tree and transform the way that you define yourself with African Ancestry, the pioneer of genetic ancestry tracing for people of African descent. Testing materials are included. So when I say African Americans, that's what I mean. Americans who are of African descent. So I know people get a little wound around the axle about the term African American versus Black American. And I'm like, geez Louise. It's an ethnicity. Wow. So I'm unboxing it. I got the matriclan test because I'm a female and only the males can do the patriclan test, right? And you have to have a male. If you do, you have to have a male in your family available. So here's what's in the package. Wow. Thing that says activate your test kit, right? This card and some instructions on it. African Ancestry test swab envelope. I guess that's what you put it in. I got a return label. I should have as much money as this thing costed. Then I've got these two of them. I've got two sterile polyester tipped applicators. So I've taken DNA tests before through Ancestry DNA, Ancestry, and 23andMe, and I had to spit in a tube. And I got to tell you, it was gross. I was like, Hello, Facebook user. Click in the link granting StreamYard permission. See, that's what it says, Facebook user, if so that I can see what your name is. Otherwise, I'll have to jump all over from phone to tablet to see. So here's the envelope. Here's the instructions for this thing. It says, please read all the instructions first. That's important. And then follow them carefully to ensure the proper results, right? So like I said, I've said before, I don't know how long many of you have been following me, but I'm a techie. So, you know, that's my background, IT, software engineering. Hey, how you doing, Sheila? Okay, Facebook user. Hey, Sheila, how you doing? Welcome to the group. So I'm like, I don't have time to read that. I'm just going to figure it out on my own. And then I end up like spending hours and hours trying to figure out software. Now I have to like watch YouTube now because it's just like everybody's creating the software now and it's all different. So it says, I have to complete my online activation. So I have to go online and activate it. Same as Ancestry, same as 23andMe. And then you have the instructions say to prepare the swab. Me neither, Sheila. I know that's you. I can't wait to travel either. She thinks she can't wait to travel. I can't either. So that's why I was doing the testing for the COVID-19 to see how quick or slow it was going to be. So I'm in South Carolina, Charleston area. So it was like ridiculously slow over the summer because it was just crazy how slow it was. But our governor got, hey, they've got it. They've sped it up. I took it up. I took him up on his challenge. He said, get a test. He was talking about the COVID test now. Governor said that for Thanksgiving, get your COVID test before you go around your family for Thanksgiving. So, okay, she's saying, what's the difference between the tests? So are you talking about the COVID-19 test or are you talking about the DNA test? Which tests are you talking about? Let me know. Type in the chat which type of test are you talking about? DNA or COVID-19? Because you asked the question, what's the difference between the tests? Okay, so let me scroll and see if she's responding. So here's the instructions for the DNA test. So it's saying, do not use mouthwash or toothpaste or consume caffeine, alcohol, or smoke for at least 3 hours prior to swabbing your cheeks. Good thing I read that because I drink coffee all day, right? And I didn't brush my teeth yet. I don't drink alcohol, but I chew this mint gum. I don't know if that counts. Oh, you're asking DNA. She wants to know DNA test. What's the difference? I'm glad you asked because I actually have something I'm going to try to share here. Come on. See if I can do this. I do this every week and it's still a challenge for me to try to share stuff. So according to, this is something that I got from them, African Ancestry, they've done this comparison on the type of tests between African Ancestry, Ancestry.com, and 23andMe. And the focus is what's the difference, right? AfricanAncestry.com focuses mainly on, let me make that bigger, Black identity, right? So that's how it gives us, you know, a springboard or a place, you know, a marker so that we can like see ourselves as people of the diaspora, African diaspora, in relation to the people of the African continent, because of course we know that those of us who are here in this part of the world, the Western Hemisphere, you know, over here in the Americas and the Caribbean, you know, our ancestors, the most, not everyone, we have some people who are actually first, second, third generation African people who've moved here in modern times in search of work and in search of college or education or opportunity, what have you. Did you know that Nigeria has, like, I forget what percentage of it is, the most doctors in the continent of Africa, and the majority of them over here in the US. So there's some very smart people on the continent of Africa. So many of them come here for job opportunities. But like I was saying, that those of us who are descendants of slaves here, we've lost our identity, our African identity, which is why some people get wrapped around the axle with the term when you say African American. Oh, I'm not African American. I'm not African. Hello, you're of African descent. Hello, it's an ethnicity. Okay, like Italian or English or French or Croatian. It's an ethnicity. You know, we're descendants of Africans, those of us who have African heritage. You know how you can tell? DNA, number one, but our skin color and our hair, that's a telltale sign, you know? So these are things we can't change. And that's what identifies us and ties us to the continent, sorry. The continent has 54 countries, mind you. So back to these types of tests, right? So what they're saying is that Ancestry.com gives you a subscription. I had that. It's very sickening. I had to turn it off. It helps you gain access to genealogy records. Like, you know, here in the US, you have like grandmother, grandfather, aunts, uncles, cousins. I've been able to track down relatives and stuff through Ancestry DNA because, you know, like I want to know who my modern cousins and relatives are and where they are. You can find them using it. Now, 23andMe, they also do health traits. But the difference between the results, because it's number second here, the second row, it identifies your present day African country of origin based on the samples that they have of those people on the continent in these locations right now. And keep in mind that the borders are really artificial borders. They're a result of colonization. So the people can live in more than one country because traditionally they lived in a region, but because of colonization, and yes, they were colonized too, right? So up until the 1960s, countries on the continent of Africa were actually under colonial rule. The country of Ghana, for which our trip is next year, was the first country to gain independence from European rule and domination in 1957. President Kwame Nkrumah was the first president of Ghana. The other countries followed suit, but we did have some African American activists who helped in that, like W.E.B. Du Bois. You know, he was one. And they even have a center that's named after him in Accra, Ghana. There's a monument to him. So he was a friend of Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is just a idea where Africans should be for Africans and the African countries should unite, you know, come together to some sort of African union, because really they're even though the borders are there, they're really all over. You know, their ethnicities span multiple, regions that don't correspond to these borders. So now back to the test. The test is saying the difference between African ancestry is it identifies your present day African country of origin, and Ancestry.com or Ancestry DNA reveals what percentage of your ancestry is African, and 23andMe does the same. It reveals what percentage of your ancestry is African, but with 23andMe, I actually found them to be a little bit better at that and narrowing it down and a little bit more accurate, because I was actually able to tie or connect with a relative of mine that I've never met, of course. We have some shared great grandparent that we shared, and she's in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, on the coast. So that's one thing I have to give them. So they did narrow that down significantly for me. Now, there are also some things called the family relevance. On African Ancestry, you can share your results. Results can be shared by an entire family line. The others are results can only be shared by siblings with the same two parents. That's the only way they'll share it. And 23andMe, the results can only be shared by siblings and the same two parents. Same thing. And the major difference is the database. So African Ancestry has over 33,000 African lineages across 40 countries. So that's a lot. Let's see, Ancestry has fewer than 2,000 African lineages across 9 African regions, and 23andMe contains fewer than 2,000 African lineages across 13 African regions. And then another thing is African Ancestry destroys your genetic information. Ancestry.com, they research genetic information, and 23andMe, unless you opt out, they sell your genetic information. So I did an opt out. Okay, so AfricanAncestry.com has been around since the year 2003. So that's a long time. So they had plenty of time to collect information and data. And the leadership, it's 100% Black owned, including a Black geneticist and the staff. Now, Ancestry DNA is a private equity firm with no Black geneticists. 23andMe is private with no Black ownership or geneticists, although they do have some historians who I felt that they did a pretty good overall for 23andMe discussion of or presentation of my data. So I saw that the region in general, right, of where we're from. So my DNA is 22.2%, according to according to 23andMe, I am 22.2% Nigerian. No, 22.4% Nigerian. Then 22.3% Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leonean. So that's a area right there in West Africa, those 3 nations. The people are the same, even though they're different nations, but they're the same. That's what that's telling me. And then like 15% like Senegambian. That's like a broad category of African Bantu tribes. It wasn't really specific about that. So that's like more central Africa, still along the coast, but it's just not specific enough. So based on history, the majority of the people who were transported, captured, they were kidnapped, captured, sent over through many different methods, because that happened over the course of hundreds of years on the continent as well as here in this side of the world. The majority of the people came from West Africa. There was Central Africa, some East Africa, because there were different things going on where there were wars and stuff. And then the Arabs, that's how Islam came to Africa, through Muslims. The Islam, they came to the continent, and, the people, they didn't force the people, but I can't speak for everyone, but for the most part, they, amalgamated. So we have a high percentage of Muslim people in Africa, especially Northern Africa. But there are people who are Muslim, a significant amount. Now, for Ghana, the majority of the people are Christian. Then they have a Muslim population, and then they have indigenous. So each region has its own story. But back to the DNA. So I just wanted to go over that. So I've got to do this, follow the instructions on this card here, right? Do my test, package it back, and send it back. And well, first I have to register my kit. online. And then I will find out the actual tribe or tribes, plural, because when we came here, our ancestors came here, they were brought here and separated, right? They were separated by, if they were from the same area, they separated them because they didn't want them to communicate, right? That's one way they separated them, because they feared them that they would fight back, and they did. There were slave uprisings. There were. We just don't hear about it, but there really were. There's one called the Stono Rebellion right here in Charleston, and there was a real uprising, and they couldn't get away. You know what I mean? Because it was just so far. Where were they going to go? But they did, and there were some that even escaped and went and lived with the Native Americans and things like that. So we actually have some Maroons right here in the U.S. We typically think of the Maroons in the Caribbean, but we have Maroons here too. So I get somebody saying she thinks we're related. We could be related. No, we're probably related. My grandmother used to say. She used to say, if you go far enough back, everybody can. So that's what she used to say. So I'm just glad I got my test kit, and I'm really excited. I'm going to do my swabbing. I'm glad I just have to swab it. I don't have to spit in the tube and send it back. And then I'll be looking for my results, and I will keep you posted. This is so exciting. So before I sign off, there are links in this post here. If you're on YouTube, there are links in the description. That's what they say on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, it's in the description of the post. And if you're on Instagram, there'll be links in the bio as well as in the post, because I will upload this video to Instagram. But of course, Instagram has to be difficult. You have to put all the links in the bio. So if you want to get a test kit, they're doing a Black Friday special. Check out the link. You get $30 off. Plus you get this trio of notebooks, branded notebooks. I got a necklace. What did I do with that necklace? Because when I bought it before Black Friday, and it was this cute little shell necklace. And of course I can't find it. Of course, now that I have it over here, I can't locate the necklace, but I got a nice cute little necklace. That was my gift that I got with it. So I'm going to do my test. And there's also, I'm going to do a shout out to my girl, Tia Globe Detrata, of the Passport Hustle. So this past Saturday was Small Business Saturday. She's also a travel advisor, but she owns a travel gear company called the Passport Hustle. And she does t-shirts, she does luggage cases, she does masks, she does some other type of clothing items, all branded the Passport Hustle, big afros. I had a shirt on Saturday. I posted it. I think I posted that thing. All right, Rona, enough, because we're ready to travel. You know what I mean? So this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel, coming on to do the unboxing of my African Ancestry DNA Kit. And it's so exciting. I'll do this test and keep you guys in the loop of what my actual tribe is. I know the area, so I was very happy with 23andMe. So at least I found a real person, and then I narrowed it down to some regions. Now I get to find out who I'm actually related to and hopefully meet them. So this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel signing off, and hoping that you have a great rest of your evening. And remember, check out my videos that I did yesterday. I did put them up, and I organized them as a series. So the two videos are together with the Minute Clinic, CVS Minute Clinic, and the COVID testing, and how short it was for me to take. It was easy for me to go take the test. It was easy for me to even apply to get it. No wait. Even when it was time for me to get my results, which I was pleasantly surprised, like I said, I got them back fairly quickly. So 48 hours. So for most countries who are accepting United States citizens into their countries because we're considered high risk, they are requiring a negative COVID PCR test. That's the one where they swab up your nose within 72 hours before you fly, before you even get there. So, of course, you have to have it. Most of them require you to go on some type of website, upload that your information, fill out. Some require a visa. Some just require that you fill out the questionnaire and have health insurance. That's another thing. Travel health insurance, travel medical insurance. You have to have travel insurance. So going forward, coronavirus, you have to have it. It's just a must because people are just not people are not willing, these companies not willing to take the risk anymore. So they want you to have some type of travel insurance. So when I release the trip, it'll be coming up shortly. Like I said, just waiting on the flights. It's getting close, but it should be released within the next week or two. Either the end of this week or next week. I'll have the entire trip released, but you can still get on the VIP list. Sign up. Click the link in the post. Get on the VIP list, right? It'll take you to my website. Scroll to the middle part of the website. You'll see the trip. Click on it. Sign up. You'll be on the VIP list. You can also see the highlights of the trip. So I'll be doing a little bit more going forward on the trip as we go along. But this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel, signing off and hoping that you have a great rest of your evening. And remember, live the dream. Bye-bye.